I'm gonna do your arm too. Hold your arms up together where I can see both of them at once. Put them closer together. I no more won't see your face, but put them like that. Kind of.
Sure.
Put them. Well, where's the? This camera. This is. Okay. Now it's too dark. There we go. Okay. So it's kind of itchy, but not super itchy.
It's not super itchy, doctor, and I've tried not to itch, to scratch, because of the scabbing and all. I have put on, what was that medication, Carol?
It was a cortisone cream.
Over the counter or prescription cortisone?
Over the counter, and then Dr. Barr called one in yesterday. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
See if he has that on there.
It didn't help at all.
Well, I mean, it's going to... these blistering diseases, strong steroids are almost always you have to use, but if it's feasible, the topical is much better than taking oral, because oral messes up a lot of other stuff, but sometimes you have to take the oral. There's no way around it, and then you have to take some other stuff to try to keep the prednisone from bothering you, or even lower the dose. All right, stick and a sting. Stick, sting. So this is going to be perilesional.
Okay. So impression.
Bullous pemphigoid versus pemphigus.
Which one do you want first? This
So he gave you some doxycycline and chlorhexidine, which is just Hibiclens. But so they didn't really give. It didn't look like he gave you a strong steroid.
No.
So I'm gonna give.
He gave her a shot before we came over here.
Okay, but I'm gonna give her a strong topical to put on the area, since they're all pretty much are all reachable.
pemphigus, P-H-E-M.
P-E-M-P-H-G-U-S. It should, the differential should give. What did the differential give you?
Blister.
Okay. Okay, let me have it. Either one, whichever one you give me,
This is the 3.
Alright, so this is perilesional,
Okay.
not lesional.
What morphology?
Multiple erosions and some tense blisters on the erythematous base. So there's the, I need the scissors and the gauze. Oh, she's got some gauze. She brought her own. So this is the DIF. We send this to Birmingham, and they send one of the pieces on to Miami, which is kind of the confirmatory test. But we'll have an initial test. We'll have probably Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. But we won't have the confirmation test till probably the end of next week. So you got 4 now?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't hurt, does it?
No, doctor.
Just making sure I hit the spot. I couldn't remember exactly where I put that medicine, but I'm pretty sure that was it. But Here's an intact blister that I'll be able to look at. Okay.
You want 2 spots?
Do what? I better give me the strip for one of them. Need to hold pressure for a minute. Let me see her list of medicines again. Let me hold it for a second. Let me look at that. Will you be putting the medicine on her?
Yes.
Or helping? Okay,
Yes.
so, of course, there, a lady that I studied under had a big study that showed that the topical works just as good as oral prednisone if you can get it on there. You know, but I mean, some people, like if she had to put this on herself, then
Yeah, I'll be
may not
taking
work,
care
but
of
as
her.
long as you're helping her, then
Sure.
that way you don't get all the side effects from the prednisone. And one spot band-aid will be fine. So, until we know for sure which one it is, I don't know much more to tell you that does any good. But most of these things, you can't cure them, but because they're caused by your immune system. It's basically blistering diseases. Your immune system, well, your skin is in layers and stacked on top of each other. And there's multiple layers, even within the dermis and the epidermis, which are the two main layers of the skin. But within those two layers, there are also multiple layers. So each of those layers is held together by rebar. So this layer, these two layers are held together by one type of rebar. The next layer is held together by another type of rebar. The next layer is another type of rebar. And each, excuse me, I tickle in my throat. Excuse me. Each level of rebar is different. And your immune system kind of goes out of whack and it's attacking this rebar. And depending on which type of rebar is being attacked, is where your skin splits, and that's what causes the blister when your skin splits. And each of these different diseases, the split is at a different level. So that's why you can't tell until you get the pathology and the immune test and so forth. So when we get it, I'll call and let you know, at least temporary. But in the meantime, we're going to put this strong topical steroid on there. And he gave her a steroid shot.
Yes.
Okay.
What is the medical term, doctor, the name of this?
Well, it's as I said, it's a blistering disease. We just don't know which one yet.
Oh.
There's several different kinds. One of the most common one is called bullous pemphigoid, and just by pure chance, that's what it is by the odds. But most of the time, bullous pemphigoid looks more like these big blisters, and they're kind of individual. And sometimes there's a type that's a little bit worse called pemphigus, which you get these more erosions. It's more superficial. But you've got so many of these tense blisters that I think it's still going to be pemphigoid. With pemphigus, you mostly just see these erosions. You don't see many blisters because they're so fragile, because they're closer to the top. So the top of the blister may only have one level over it, whereas these have 5 or 6 levels, so the blisters are harder to pop because they're just thicker, because the split's deeper in the skin. But you'd rather have that one than the other one. You'd rather have the deep one than the superficial one. The superficial one's worse.
So do we know what I have?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
We know one of the things it might be, but we don't know which one for sure until we get these tests back. And when we get them back, we'll call you, but I'm going to give you some medicine to rub on them that'll make it better until
Thank you,
you...
doctor.
Until
Is
you,
this contagious?
no,
I'm concerned for my daughter, that's why I'm
not contagious. Okay. All right. You can get dressed, and we'll call when you get that back. And,
Thank you, doctor.
and depending on which one.